We just got one of the rarest ATVs ever made for 150 bucks. This thing's been rotting in someone's field for the last century. But fear not, we're gonna get this thing up and running by the end of the video. You're probably wondering, why save an ATV like this? Well, this is a Yamaha Terra Pro. If you don't know what a Terra Pro is, it's the only ATV ever produced with PTO from the factory. Yeah, check that out. But enough rambling about how cool this rig is. Let's get to work. Right off the bat, this thing's heavy as balls and it doesn't turn over. It's getting power with the jump pack, but we are getting no click or nothing. But the problem with these Terra Pros, and the reason why a lot of them sit, is because there is a billion different safety sensors on this. And all it takes is one of them to cause this thing not to crank. So we're going through each individual one and just making sure we're getting the proper clicks and clacks. That way we know it's functioning. But so far, we're getting nothing. The PTO light is coming on, so that shouldn't be our issue. There's no sensor for the brake. This seat has another sensor on it. I tell you, they are never ending. Another sensor for the clutch. Yeah, this thing's a 5-speed manual. But just when I thought I was ready to give up, check this out. All right, we took this thing apart. Check it out. We're getting click. Click, but no turn. I'm thinking we could hit this starter with a hammer and we might just get this thing to crack over. Jeez. Oh. Okay. All right. It's a good sign. The moment we've all been waiting for. Did we bring anything home with us? What I'm referring to is mice in the airbox. There's pretty much 10 times out of 9, always mice. Oh my gosh. What is even that? Oh. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's worst case Ontario. But hey, we're going to take this water. We're going to make lemonade out of it. Because this is actually best case scenario. Because those intake tubes are almost like a J shape. So none of the water, if I am correct, did not go into the motor. But we'll find out soon enough if that's the case or not. Hey, check it out. These are the belts for the PTO and they're all intact. So that's a good sign. Next up, we're going to take off this gas tank and this cover right here so we can get access to our carburetor. We just got a couple bolts and nuts holding this thing on, and our impact is not impactful enough to persuade those bolts, but this is. This is my 100 times X beef pounds of torque multiplier, and it'll crack just about any nut you put ahead of it. So, anyways, we got the gas tank loose. No, we don't. There's a couple more pesky little bolts down here. Fortunately, we got a ratcheting crescent wrench. No, box wrench. I made that mistake before. And now we got some space to play. And I gotta say, this carburetor's a little bit intimidating. Because check it out. There is so many tubes and hoses going to it. I think I'm just gonna take a picture. And I gotta say, this has gotta be the Megalodon of all Megalodon carbs. Look at the size of it. It's practically the size of that Yamaha generator. And moment of truth, is it crusty? It is, in fact, crusty. Very crusty. My hope is dwindling. There's cottage cheese in the carb. We're not gonna get this thing running. Or are we? A little bit of finesse, and that needle popped right out. Next up, you guessed it, ultrasonic cleaner. Now, we can go back to the quad and see what else is up with it. Let's pull this plug and see what we're dealing with, and hopefully, no rust. That was my biggest concern. We're still gonna shoot some sweet and sour down in the cylinder and let it sit. Next up, I'm gonna bang it with this rod, and by doing that, we're getting that starter to turn over and get that oil, sweet and sour, nice and lubricated. Then check for spark while we're at it. That's looking good. And just like that, after rotating this thing like a rotisserie chicken, it's looking, well, not perfect, but much better. Keep in mind, this thing was pretty rough, so that's not too shabby, and I can work with that. So let's keep moving, and we got her back together. Now there's one thing left to do. Toss her on, and let's see how we did. Perfect shot every time. Next up, before I put everything back together, I just want to see if this thing fires up. So the last thing we want to do is get everything back on and then it not start. So we got our choke on. The moment of truth. Wow, that thing actually started like a glove. Man, the look on my face says it all. I am shocked how easily that thing started up. And now that we know this thing wants to live, we can throw her back together and see if it actually moves under its own power and if the PTO works. So let's get this thing fueled out, pour some out for the haters, and wait a second, we need a gas cap. Hold on, I got just the idea for that. I've robbed so many parts off this Grizzly. I bought it for $200 and I sold the carb on it for $600. Yes. So it's been the gift that keeps on giving. All right, let's double check, make sure we didn't get lucky. Woo-hoo! Man, I gotta say, this thing runs so good, and it kept running good until it caught on fire. But we quickly took care of that. And fortunately, I am an expert at evicting mice out of ATVs. So here it is. But check it out. This thing actually rips.